Clue was released December 13th, 1985, making this movie just about 40 years old. The film is based off of the iconic Clue board game. The purpose of the game is to gather clues to figure out who murdered Mr. Body, with what weapon, and in what location within the mansion setting. For example, it was Mr. Green in the conservatory with the candlestick. This is kind of a weird thing to say, but the candlestick is definitely my favorite weapon. The movie adaptation is set in the year 1954 in New England, and that emotionally charged time in American history offers an interesting backdrop for the story. I will retell the movie's plot in its entirety momentarily, but an overall summary is as follows. 6 strangers are invited to dinner at a mysterious mansion. Throughout the night, secrets are revealed, blackmail runs rampant, and the group must come together to solve a series of murders. The cast is star-studded and very talented. Our characters include Eileen Brennan as Mrs. Peacock, Tim Curry as Wadsworth the butler, Madeline Kahn as Mrs. White, Christopher Lloyd as Professor Plum, Michael McKean as Mr. Green, Martin Mull as Colonel Mustard, Leslie Ann Warren as Miss Scarlet, and Colleen Camp as Yvette the maid, and Lee Ving as Mr. Body. The description on MGM Plus labels the movie as humorous, playful, and campy, so how bad can that be? Notably, this film actually has 3 different endings, and when this film was originally released in theaters, different theaters would stream different endings. But once everything was released onto home media, all endings were included. A couple of quick fun facts about the cast that I came across. Carrie Fisher was actually initially going to play Miss Scarlet, which would have been really interesting, but Leslie Ann Warren is just so iconic in the role. And additionally, I saw that all of the main cast all received the same amount of money for the film, as well as the same billing. So I thought that was kind of cool, kind of like the Friends cast. Alright, our film opens up with some very intense music, and I'll shout out to John Morris, who created the original score for the film. We see a moody scene unfolding. As the weather turns stormy, a man arrives at a gated mansion atop a hill, full moon adorning the sky above. The man's name is Wadsworth, and he feeds the hungry guard dogs, and though this setup is very serious and somber, the comedic tone to the film begins very quickly, with the man stepping in some dog waste and wiping his shoe in front of the door, which is kind of gross, actually. He checks in with Yvette the maid, and we get the first of many characters checking their own shoes after smelling what Wadsworth stepped in. He then checks on Mrs. Ho, the cook, preparing dinner before the first guest of the evening arrives. Enter Colonel Mustard. Wadsworth introduces himself as the butler and insists to the colonel that he remains using the alias prescribed to him for the duration of the evening per the request of Wadsworth's employer. The colonel then checks his shoes as well. He is escorted to the library where Yvette is preparing beverages for the guests. The utterly fabulous Mrs. White then appears, checking her own shoes as well. When she joins the others, we find out that she and Yvette already know one another. Cut to the road, a woman's car has broken down, and she seductively draws in the next motorist on the road, who offers her a ride. Miss Scarlet and Professor Plum head to the party together as they realize that they both received similar invitations. Miss Scarlet's dress in the film is so beautiful, but this little coat hood number is absolutely fabulous. I love it. Meanwhile, Mrs. Peacock enters the fray and joins the others in the library. Her peacock brooch is gorgeous. We should all wear more brooches and hats and gloves and things. Fashion can be so fun. Mr. Green is then on the scene as it has started to rain. Scarlet arrives, and Plum gets handsy on their way to the door. Now that all the guests have arrived, Wadsworth reveals that they are all under pseudonyms. The cook bangs the gong, time to get dinner on. Now is a good time to say that nearly every other line in this movie is a straight zinger, and the wit and humor is never ending. I'll include some lines here and there that I especially like, or just that I feel are conducive to the plot, but it would be difficult to include all of the best dialogue. This opening dinner conversation is great. culminating in Mustard asking Scarlet if she likes Kipling, referring to the poet, and her response of, "Sure, I'll eat anything," is gold. I'll also comment now that there's a lot of sexist and also homophobic sentiment from some of the characters, which is commensurate with the mid-century American popular ideals and social mores that they are confined within. And I obviously don't condone this behavior, but it plays as part of the story, and I am personally not offended by it, and I don't find it harmful, but I just wanted to get that out of the way, and obviously I don't condone such behaviors. There is a seventh empty chair at the dinner table for Mr. Body, who the others believe to be the host, while Wadsworth states that he is actually another guest. Soup is served and slurped, and the reactions of the others are great. The physicality of the acting in this film is superb. Mrs. Peacock nervously rambles to fill the awkward silence. She is about to reveal who she is when she stops herself. Mr. Green recognizes her, though, as he also works in Washington. The next dish is served, and Peacock digs in. She loves it. Plum psychoanalyzes her, and it's revealed that he is a non-practicing psychological doctor. My reaction to this was, yikes. 50s psychology was a freaking mess. Miss me with that. But Plum is apparently now working for the World Health Organization within the UN. The Colonel is truly a colonel and lives in DC too. Scarlet reveals that she also lives there and has seen Mustard before. Mr. Green pieces together that everyone there either works for the government or lives in the government town of Washington, D.C. Just then, Mr. Body arrives. The tension is palpable as Wadsworth reveals that everyone received a letter inviting them to the party under the premise that Mr. Body would be ending his blackmail. Mr. Body then states that he also received a letter, but with different contents. He also demonstrates that he knows Yvette, and Wadsworth then asks if anyone would like fruit or dessert, but after being met with silence, he ushers everyone into the study for coffee and brandy. I love old dinner party etiquette and manners. Mr. Body kind of freaks out and tries to leave the house, but we learn that they are all trapped. All the windows have bars and all the doors are locked. This causes outrage, and Wadsworth assures them everything will be explained and to all return to the study. He gets into it. They are all being blackmailed, and he spills the tea on everyone. Professor Plum actually lost his license after he slept with one of his patients. Mrs. Peacock and her senator husband have been taking shady bribes. Miss Scarlet reveals the business that she runs of providing female company to men, if you know what I mean. Mustard is actually one of her clients. There's some clever wordplay in that little scene, but again, it's hard to highlight all of the great dialogue. Colonel Mustard seems to have a disproportionately large amount of money compared to his colonel's pay, but he claims it was because of the money left to him by his, quote, mommy and daddy. Mrs. White's husband appears to have died under mysterious circumstances. He was, however, a nuclear physicist. She says when he was found, his head had been cut off, as had his, and the men all crossed their legs in response. Mrs. White denies being involved, but I love the line that she gives when Scarlet asks if she misses her husband. She says, "Oh, it's a matter of life after death. Now that he's dead, I have a life." This is her second husband to disappear, supposedly. Mr. Green then reveals his secret of his own volition. As he says, "I work for the State Department and I'm a homosexual. I feel no personal shame or guilt about this, but I must keep it a secret or I will lose my job on security grounds." The others react in various, all non-supportive ways, but go off, King, come out and be proud. The 50s were just crazy, and I'm so glad that I wasn't living back then. The reveals culminate in Mr. Body's secret coming out, that he is the one blackmailing them. This leads to a cartoonish fight, and Wadsworth gets them to calm down by telling them that the police are arriving in 45 minutes, and he wants everyone to testify against Mr. Body. He has collected evidence and is tape recording the conversation. We see Yvette listening from the billiard room. Mr. Body then opens up a bag that he had brought with him, gifting everyone a weapon. while revealing that the letter he received was to show up to discuss the blackmail or Wadsworth would tell the police. Scarlet receives the candlestick, White the rope, Green the lead pipe, Mustard the wrench, Plum the revolver, and Peacock the dagger. Side note, the women all have beautiful blood-red nails emphasized here, with Mrs. White's looking particularly good. Body tells them to kill Wadsworth or else all of their secrets will be revealed. He shuts off the lights, we hear a struggle, a gunshot, and screaming. Mrs. Peacock turned the lights back on, and Mr. Body is on the ground, Plum pronouncing him dead. He was not shot, however. The bullet actually hit the wall. Mrs. Peacock says that she needs a drink, and Plum then posits that perhaps Body was poisoned. She screams in response, and Mr. Green slaps her to get her to stop. Meanwhile, Yvette screams from the other room. The others all follow, and Yvette reveals that she is scared. She was listening to the conversation and also drank the brandy, so she's worried that she could be poisoned too. They bring her back with them as Wadsworth gathers the tapes. He crashes out a bit and reveals the truth. He was Mr. Body's butler, but he himself conceived of the idea of the evening, inviting them all there himself. He wanted revenge on Body, as his wife ended her life after being blackmailed by Body for having socialist friends, and they all react so strongly and sympathetically. The 50s were insane part 2 with this. The red and lavender scares, the hysteria of McCarthyism, it's just so unnecessary and inhuman. But this reveals the motives behind Mr. Body. All that he blackmailed he viewed as thoroughly un-American. Mr. Green asks why he didn't just report them if he was really so bothered by it all, and Wadsworth replies that he decided to make some money off of it. And what could be more American than that? Wadsworth just wanted everyone to help put Body behind bars. Professor Plum goes, so everything is explained, to which Scarlet replies, nothing is explained, we still don't know who killed him. They need to figure that out before the police arrive. They all claim to be innocent, and then they realize that there is one other person still in the house, the cook. They all scramble to the kitchen. Lots of scrambling and ambling about and bumping into one another in this movie. The backstabbed corpse of the cook falls out of the fridge, taking down Mr. Green with her. I love this following dialogue. Mr. Green asks, who would want to kill the cook? Scarlet replies, dinner wasn't that bad. To which Mustard says, how can you make jokes at a time like this? To which she replies, it's her defense mechanism. Girl, same. We then learn Mrs. White has actually had 5 husbands. They carry the cook's body to the study to see that Mr. Body's body is gone. They question if he was actually dead or not. Scarlet says, maybe there is life after death, to which White replies, life after death is as improbable as sex after marriage. And yikes, now I see why her husbands don't last. Mrs. Peacock heads to the restroom and screams as Mr. Body's now blood-adorned corpse falls onto her. Before the candlestick falls onto his head, knocking him out, Wadsworth sums up the clue board game. We're trying to find out who killed him, and where, and with what. They drag the 2 corpses to the sofa, and Plum ends up sandwiched between them. A now awake Wadsworth takes all of the weapons and locks them into the cupboard. He goes to throw the keys outside when a stray motorist appears. His car had broken down, and he needs to use the phone. They lock him inside the lounge. Wadsworth then throws the key outside. Colonel Mustard checks in the study, and Mrs. Peacock asks if everything's all right, to which he replies, yep, 2 corpses, everything's fine. In the library, he asks if anyone wants a whiskey, and then just pours it all over the glasses and table, and this scene always stuck out to me, and I thought it was really cool and funny. Colonel Mustard proposes that they all split into pairs to search the house to ensure that the murderer isn't elsewhere hiding. They pair up at random, matching up matchsticks of varying lengths. Our pairs are as follows. Mrs. Peacock and Professor Plum take the cellar, Colonel Mustard and Miss Scarlet the main floor, Mrs. White and Wadsworth the upstairs, and Yvette and Mr. Green the attic. The storm rages outside as they begin their search. We see an unidentified individual burning the evidence while this is happening. They also unlock the cupboard containing the weapons, and we hear the motorist on a phone call. mystery figure comes out from the secret passage behind and hits him on the head with the wrench, right before we find out how he knows one of the party's guests. Mustard and Scarlet find the secret passage and discover the motorist's body. They scream and bang on the door, asking to be let out. The others crash into one another as they scramble to the lounge. Again, the physical nature of these roles. The actors just do it right, man. Wadsworth can't unlock the door as he realizes the key is missing. Mr. Green screams, "Let us in! Let us in!" as Mustard and Scarlet reply, "Let us out! Let us out!" Yvette grabs the revolver, trips, shooting the chandelier before then shooting open the door. Mustard condemns her for using the gun, stating that he can't take any more scares, right before the chandelier falls and shatters, nearly taking him out. Finally, the others all see the dead motorist. They question how Yvette got the revolver, and they see that the cabinet door has been unlocked. Just then, the doorbell rings. Mr. Green goes to open the door to a cop. The cop came across the abandoned car from the motorist and asks if anyone had stopped by this house for help. Wadsworth ushers him into the library, locking him in as the others figure out what to do. The cop receives an incoming call with shock, asking to be let out. When they unlock the door, he asks what's happening and why they are getting phone calls from J. Edgar Hoover, head of the FBI. A funny line from Wadsworth. Mustard asks why Hoover is on his phone, and he replies, "I don't know, he's on everybody else's, why shouldn't he be on mine?" Mr. Green takes the cop to the non-corpse inhabiting rooms. I could literally say this at any time in the film, but Michael McKean is so perfect in this role. While he does that, the others stage the other rooms. Cue the song Shaboom as the others pretend to make out with the corpses of Body and the cook. Scarlet and Plum, in the other room, make it seem as though the motorist passed out drunk. As the cop says, "This man is dead drunk," to which Scarlet replies, "Dead right." The cop gets locked in the library again, and the others split back up into their pairs to finish searching the house. Mustard and Scarlet find yet another secret passage in the kitchen. At this point, someone shuts off the power in the house. We see Yvette rush downstairs to meet somebody before being strangled with the rope. The cop is then hit with the lead pipe. The door rings, and this poor singing telegram lady is shot. Wadsworth flips the power back on, and the party reunites on the main floor. They discover Yvette, the cop, and the telegram woman with a resigned nature. Body count is now up to 6. Wadsworth claims to know who did it and asks everyone to follow him. He recaps the evening's events in an animated fashion as the others run behind him. Tim Curry kills this, by the way. He's so good. His retelling is a bit shorter than mine, but we get to the point where Professor Plum had announced Body dead, and we realize that he actually was still alive. He states that while everyone else was comforting Yvette after her screaming, someone had used the secret passage to kill the cook. We also find out Wadsworth's friend is the house's owner, so Wadsworth knew about the passageways the entire time. He also tells them that Yvette and the cook were involved in the blackmailing scheme. They were Body's accomplices. The truth bombs continue. Yvette had had an affair with Mrs. White's late husband. She had worked with Miss Scarlet, and Mustard had been with Yvette via Scarlet's business. To this, Mustard says that Mr. Body had threatened to send photos of him and Yvette to his mother, contradicting his earlier statement that his mother was dead. Back to the events of the evening. After the cook was killed, the murderer used the secret passage to hit Mr. Body with the candlestick after he got up looking to escape, before throwing his body in the bathroom. Wadsworth reveals that after that, when he went to throw the key to the cupboard outside, he actually tricked them and replaced the key with something else, so someone must have taken the real key from his pocket at some point. Colonel Mustard's top secret job is then revealed. He is working on the next fusion bomb. Wadsworth goes on to reveal that he invited the motorist, as everyone who was at the house that night was either a victim or accomplice of Mr. Body. He wanted the motorist to provide evidence. Mustard comes clean about being a war profiteer, selling Air Force radios on the black market. The motorist knew this, as he was his former driver. As for the cop, Scarlet reveals that she had been bribing him once a week to keep her business running. Lastly, the singing telegram girl was Professor Plum's patient, whom he had slept with. Continuing on, Wadsworth reveals that whoever stole the key to the cupboard from his pocket went to burn the evidence and hit the motorist with the wrench, utilizing the other secret passage. At this point in the story, he recalls that the doorbell rang, again, at which point the doorbell does actually ring in the present, revealing a man who wants to spread the word on Jesus. Armageddon is nigh, apparently. They shut the door on him, and Wadsworth continues. After they had locked up the cop, they had all forgotten about the unlocked weapons cabinet and continued their search in pairs before the murderer switched off the electricity. Wadsworth, in the present, switches off the electricity and then quickly brings it back on. Keep this as a save point, as this is where the 3 different endings begin. In this version, he reveals that Yvette killed Mr. Body and the cook. He posits if she killed them under orders from the person who would later kill her. Could it have been one of her clients? A jealous wife? An adulterous doctor? No, it was her employer, Miss Scarlett. Scarlett also took out the motorist, cop, and singing telegram girl. She denies it, but Wadsworth asks everyone to empty their pockets and purses, as whoever has the missing gun is the murderer. It is Scarlett indeed. She reveals her real business, trading secrets. The secrets of Senator Peacock's Defense Committee, Colonel Mustard's fusion bomb, Professor Plum's UN contacts, and the work of Mrs. White's nuclear physicist husband. Mr. Green deducts that it is politically motivated, that Miss Scarlett is a communist, but she brilliantly replies, the communism was just a red herring. Plum comes at her, and he has a line that I thought was sadly funny. Scarlett says, I hardly think it will enhance your reputation at the UN, Professor Plum, if it's revealed that you've been implicated not only in adultery with one of your patients, but in her death, and the deaths of 5 other people. He replies, you don't know what kind of people they have at the UN. I might go up in their estimation. Damn. Scarlett goes on to say that she will continue to extort them and get government secrets, but that Wadsworth, as a mere butler, is expendable. There's a funny exchange about the amount of bullets left in the gun, Wadsworth claiming that there are none left, Scarlett believing there is still one. The doorbell rings, allowing Wadsworth to overpower Scarlett. Our evangelist returns as an undercover agent with a squad of other agents actually working with Wadsworth. Wadsworth tells Scarlett that he was right about the gun, but he actually wasn't, shooting a stray bullet at the ceiling. This causes yet another chandelier to fall, and it ends on a slow-motion scene of Colonel Mustard being scared silly yet again. And I always loved that. But anyway, that's how it could have happened. But how about this? Ending 2. Wadsworth recounts, the murderer ran to the study, picked up the rope and lead pipe, strangled Yvette in the billiard room, hit the cop on the head with the pipe in the library, grabbed the gun, shot the telegram woman, and then ran into the cellar. He confronts Mrs. Peacock, stating that she murdered them all. She was the one missing while the cook and Mr. Body were missing. The cook used to be her cook. As she stated at dinner, they were eating one of her favorite recipes. And monkey's brains, though popular in Cantonese cuisine, are not often to be found in Washington, D.C. That detail always stuck with me. Peacock offed them all to protect her secrets. Professor Plum asks if it really had nothing to do with a missing nuclear physicist and Colonel Mustard's work on the new fusion bomb. Wadsworth states that no, communism was just a red herring. I love that these different endings all have some of the same dialogue, but it's said by different characters. It's very interesting and cool. They have the same missing gun scene, everyone emptying their purses and pockets, this time with Peacock in possession. Wadsworth suggests that they all leave and pretend nothing ever happened. He never called the police, so they can all just get away with it. As Peacock leaves, they sing For She's a Jolly Good Fellow, and no lie, watching this movie as a child was my introduction to that song. Once she leaves, Wadsworth reveals that the FBI will take care of her, and that the call from Hoover was for him. Mustard asks who Peacock was taking bribes from, and Wadsworth reveals it was a foreign power, and that the FBI will cover it all up, as it is wont to do. As she is getting into her car, Peacock is confronted by the undercover Armageddon chief and arrested. Wadsworth then asks the others, as he did earlier in the evening, would anyone care for fruit or dessert? Okay, ending 3. Here's what really happened. Professor Plum, having missed Body with the gunshot, told everyone that he was dead so he could kill him later unobserved. Peacock killed the cook, monkey's brains, Cantonese cuisine, etc. Mustard, upon seeing the motorist at the door, took the weapons cupboard key from Wadsworth's pocket. He then suggested they all split up and was able to leave Scarlett to open the cupboard, grab the wrench, use the secret passage, and kill the motorist. Mrs. White splintered off from Wadsworth during their search to shut off the electricity and strangle Yvette. She was jealous of her affair with her husband, so she offed them both. Madeline Kahn's iconic and improvised line here is amazing. I hated her so much, it the flames, flames, flames on the side of my face. I actually have an enamel pin of that. It's an outline of Madeline Kahn, and there are literal flames on the side of her face. While that was happening, Miss Scarlett went to hit the cop with the lead pipe. That leaves just the singing telegram girl, who is assumed to be Mr. Green's victim, until Wadsworth brandishes the revolver, stating that he shot her. Green states, "I was going to expose you," to which Wadsworth replies, "I know, so I choose to expose myself." Mustard then goes, "Please, there are ladies present." Wadsworth then has the master reveal that he is Mr. Body. The man that Plum killed was just his butler. Again, communism was a red herring, and Wadsworth never called the police. He suggests they all stack the bodies in the cellar, leave one by one, and pretend that it all never happened. But he will continue to blackmail them all. At this point, Mr. Green whips out a gun and shoots the real Mr. Body. Green reveals that he is an FBI plant. The call for Hoover had been for him. Chief Armageddon busts in with his agents, arresting the others. As the others are surrounded by officers, he asks who done it, and Mr. Green says they all did it. But if you want to know who killed Mr. Body, it was Mr. Green, in the hall with the revolver. He then ends the film with the most epic of lines. "Okay, Chief, take them away. I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife." Cue the iconic shake, rattle, and roll credits. The movie is over and the mystery is solved. I love this ending, and I think it would have been made even more epic if Mr. Green actually was gay and stuck it to them by saying, "I'm gonna go home and sleep with my husband." But I get that at that time they probably wouldn't have gone that direction. Plus, Mr. Green being a completely different person than he presented as, being the Fed's plant, is a great twist. Though not as great a twist as Wadsworth actually being Mr. Body. That's truly epic, and I had forgotten about that. But yeah, that was incredible. This movie is a cult classic for a reason. It's so funny, almost every line is perfectly comedic, and the physical comedy the actors portray is top-notch. I think all of the endings are interesting, but I would say the final one, what really happened, was definitely the best. As mentioned, the twists are insane, but I also really like that everyone is culpable for something, that they are all terrible people, save for Mr. Green. That was something I thought about when rewatching this, actually. The movie is so enjoyable to watch, yet the characters have such a doomed, dark feeling to them. They are all stuck in this blackmail cycle and living in fear and insecurity. Obviously, their crimes are differing in seriousness. For example, being gay and having a wife that had socialist friends, not on par with war profiteering, murdering your husband, or taking advantage of your patients. My favorite character has to be Wadsworth, as Tim Curry's performance carries this movie. Everybody else absolutely pulls their weight, but he is the glue. I also really loved Mrs. White and Mr. Green, but as I have said, they're all great. I remember imprinting on Miss Scarlett as a kid, just thinking that she was so feminine and fabulous. And as I mentioned, I really love her dress. Really, all of the outfits are incredible. I read something that says that all of the characters wear colors opposite their character name. For example, Scarlett is in green, and Mrs. White wears all black, save for the inside of her incredible coat. The characters' cars, however, are all said to match their colors, and I really only noticed this with Scarlett at the beginning of the film, and in the Jolly Good Fellow ending when Mrs. Peacock tries to leave, you can see her peacock blue car. In addition to the costumes, the set is also very beautiful and offers such a great backdrop, curating just the right mood. Whenever I am asked what my favorite movie is, this is always in my top 3. It's remaining there too, as rewatching this, my appreciation continues. I'm a sucker for comedy, and the special concept of the film being based off of a well-loved game, stacked with such talented actors, in the unique 50s setting. I just love it all. Like, you guys, it's seriously so good. If you haven't watched it or haven't seen it in a while, now is a great time to do so, especially as I mentioned at the beginning, this movie is just about to turn 40 years old. That's wild. 40 years old and still going strong. That's about all I have to say for now, so thank you for watching this video. I would love to hear any thoughts you might have in the comments, particularly which ending of the film you liked best. Please like and subscribe should you desire. I talk about a lot of different media on my channel, so check it out if you're interested. Thanks again, and I hope you have the most beautiful of days.